Hippo Digital Media. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. It's PERRYSBURG Pulse, the podcast. Focus on all things PERRYSBURG. I'm your host, Andrew Z. It's produced by Broadcast Hippo. If you're listening to the show, you can get it anywhere. Anywhere you get your podcasts, the Google, the Apple, the iHeart, I don't know, whatever. Give it 5 stars, do some shares, like it, whatever you can do. We appreciate it. All right. Today we're going to talk about something that transpired at the school board meeting last week. And I don't know. We'll get into it here in a minute. I'm going to play the clip to me that was like, wow, that was crazy. But we've got some special guests in the studio to talk about it with us. And we're here with Missy and her son, Trevor. Hi, Missy.
Hello.
Hi, Trevor.
Hello.
And then Robert Vandevelt is here as well. Hello, Robert. Good. Let me turn your mic on. That would help. Okay. So was it a month earlier or 2 weeks earlier that Cam Warner spoke at the school board meeting?
I think it was a month earlier. Okay. So Cam Warner spoke at the school board meeting because the PERRYSBURG High School is looking to put a club. It's called the Gay Straight Alliance Club at PERRYSBURG High School. And so obviously there's open conversation. You can address the school board at some point. So she said this.
Research brought me to the professional development classes the district paid speakers for regarding LGBTQIA plus youth. What does that plus sign stand for? It is controversial, but it does include pedophiles. Is PERRYSBURG School District accepting of pedophiles? This is a serious question. It is like the CRT letter game, but it involves sex curriculum instead of racist curriculum. Pedophiles want to be renamed MAPS, minor attracted person, so they can be fully accepted into the LGBTQIA plus group. Time and money spent on educating our teachers and accepting pedophiles. Is this true?
Yeah, my head hurts. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start talking, and then
Can you hear my teeth grind when you played that?
you guys can jump in wherever you want. First of all, the plus, and I am not of the community, so you can correct me where I'm wrong, Robert. But the plus to me is just everybody. It's all inclusive for everyone. You know, it's the LBGTQ, whatever, LMNOP, and then it's the plus. Anyone we missed, that we don't want you to be uncomfortable. We want you to be inclusive. You're part of the party. Am I right? Is that what the plus is?
I believe so. Yeah. I don't even know.
Okay. All right. So,
but I know what it's not.
Right.
I clearly know what it's not.
Right. And when you say you do research, typing in the Google machine, that doesn't consider research. And it really only took about 15 seconds for me to see that they're trying this all across the country, and none of it is true. You look at Reuters, did a fact check on it. Reuters is one of the oldest news organizations in America. I mean, they've been around since almost the beginning of the printing press, and they're like, come on, that's not even true. And real quick, I'm gonna let you talk.
No.
And from a common sense point, so do you really think that your school board members and your teachers, your hardworking teachers, are supporting pedophiles? Like, that's what you said on that's the direct quote.
That's all she said.
That's the common sense part, is that, well, okay, that's what this means nationally, but that means that you're supporting pedophiles. Stop. We shouldn't.
Famous last words from like that whole QAnon group is, I did my research. That is like, it's like that red, orange colored flag. I
can't. My head's gonna explode. Trevor and Missy, what do you? Go ahead, Missy. You sound like you want to say something.
If she did say that she did her research, she didn't state where she got her research from. And if she did any at all, she would have realized that the plus doesn't mean minor attracted person. It's just other sexual orientations that have just now come up in our society today that people are trying to be accepted.
Right. It's exactly what I said. And really, I didn't have to look that up. I just know what that would be from common sense. I mean, it just says, hey, we want to include everybody. We're not trying to make you feel bad for being who you are.
Well, and over the last, it was LGBT, then LGBTQ, LGBTQIA.
So as you keep adding, that's the plus. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. Okay, so first of all, and then I don't understand why
that is a bad. First of all, gay straight alliance means working. Doesn't that say working together? I mean, that's gay straight alliance. That means working together.
Right. And weird that every other school district has had this program affiliated. Even when I was in high school, I mean, there was like a gender awareness group, but it was not directed. It was just like, hey, if you want to come, but I didn't want to go because I knew like I was going to get murdered if I did. So, I swear it was just like a bait and switch.
No, we're one of the few schools in our area that doesn't already have it. After this happened last week, I had many friends reach out, surprised that Perrysburg did not already have a GSA.
Yeah, Ottawa Hills has one. They've had one for over 10 years.
Yeah, it's
Mommy has one. I mean, even smaller outlying schools have it. Everyone was really surprised Perrysburg did not have one.
Well, and it's again, kids can be cruel. So what is wrong with having a place where kids can feel safe? And if you're also if gay and straight together, if you guys are learning each other, I mean, how is that a bad thing? Like, how can you be against that? I don't even understand. I mean, the only way you can be against that is by making up a cockamamie story about pedophiles. That's the only way you can legitimately do it, which is the route that they took.
So I spoke with someone who is against it, not Cam, someone in her group close to her, and asked really what their issue was. And I all that person could come up with is that they felt like this should not be discussed in school because it's taking away parental rights, was the only response that I could get. And I said, it's not really doing that. It's providing a safe place for kids. So it's just very misconstrued.
But in the wild, I know you're going to come across gay people. I know
gay dolphins. It happens on
an animal vacation. Level. It could happen on vacation.
I mean, it happens with penguins. It happens with dogs. I mean, it's just a way of life.
And I mean, I think at any age, acceptance should be taught. I don't care. And they're like, oh, well, they're 5. These kids are 13, 14. What are you doing? What are you thinking? Parental rights. You're gonna come across people that are different than you.
Oddly enough, like one of my colleagues, I'm a social worker, and one of my colleagues is in grad school, and she wrote a research paper. I had no idea she was doing this. She wrote a research brief, and it was centered around GSA and LGBTQ suicide rates. And if you have a GSA in place, your suicide rate drops tremendously in your school. So the day before, I was able to provide all of the board members with this actual scientific data that has been researched heavily, released. It's public, it's ethical. So there's definite research that supports a GSA. Not, and I don't understand why anyone was against it.
Well, and the other issue is she's like, well, and you guys paid to have training for this? Yes. If you have kids that you have special ed teachers for kids that can't learn the same way as the other kids, you pay for that. That's okay. If you want kids to be as comfortable as possible in a space where they're supposed to feel comfortable, which is school. So if you're going to spend money so the teachers can understand these people that are different, that is not bad. I don't care if you're talking about CRT education for the teachers, because they need to know. Look, this is just common sense stuff, and the batshit crazy on the other side is just it's unbelievable.
Why are they so threatened too? I think you should also talk about the roots of homophobia and where that comes from, because it's a fear of being treated like how society treats women.
Well, it's a fear of being fabulous. That's what it is.
Well, really, I mean, when I came out, I had to go to therapy for my internalized homophobia.
Sure.
And so like when I see it in Cam or other people that are so vocal and speaking out, because I don't know how else to say what she did was anything more or less than homophobic, transphobic. Like what's the fear coming from? Well,
again, I think she had to come up with the boogeyman to cover the mask, the fear, and the boogeyman was the pedophile thing. It's like,
well, she gets the mask too, so there's homophobia roots in there.
Say that again, Trevor. I didn't hear you, brother.
she's more than just a homophobic person who has the homophobia mindset. She's against basic human intelligence, against mass, saying they have done. She said the Perrysburg school is going against her religious mandate, and she just has many different mindsets.
Believing in Jesus allows her not to be fearful, but here she is just peddling fear and misinformation.
And the problem is that I lost my train of thought.
Because it's almost not worth arguing because it's so cockamamie weird.
Right.
But there's
I know what I was going to say. What I was going to say is there are millions of dollars in organized efforts all across the country, and it's masks, it's GSA, it's CRT, it's all of these things. This is not done by this isn't organic. It doesn't happen by accident. It's people that are trying to destroy the roots of our cities or neighborhoods or towns or whatever. This doesn't just come up. These people are being brainwashed and fed misinformation and fake news and whatever. And
when she stopped me after the board meeting, during the board meeting when I walked out into the hallway, and she stopped me, and she wanted to tell me a lot of times that she is not homophobic and she has gay friends, which is always interesting to me when someone leads with someone leads with I have gay friends. That's classic.
Well, I have a black friend as well, so I'm just put that out
right
there.
So she said repeatedly that the plus does mean pedophilia. She said it to me, she said it to Trevor multiple times that night. So she does believe that, and sometimes you can't change it.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Then it's like so you're a kid that's trying to go to school. You're gonna. I mean, obviously, Trevor's not for pedophiles. So it's like, why are you being so hateful?
How does she know so much about pedophiles?
I don't know.
She's being hateful towards kids in their most vulnerable state after already going through multiple different mental states, thinking that you're not going to be accepted in community, you're not going to be accepted at school. You go to school just to be made fun of and not accepted. And after an adult, someone who should be responsible enough to not say that to a bunch of kids, is saying that after a group that is so mistreated against, saying that we accept pedophiles into a group where we already want to feel accepted with, and we want to go to a club where we can be accepted. And once she says that, how are we supposed to feel going to school the next day when we're around multiple other kids that already feel that way against us?
Trevor, have you received a lot of bullying in school?
Yes, over the years. My first incident started in about 3rd grade, and they've progressively gotten better over the years, but there's also still the kids that have always said rude things. Even when I'm out in public, like with my friends, people will call me names and look at me differently or laugh if I'm with my friends, like wearing different clothes, or if I have my nails done, or if I'm wearing makeup, I will always just get different looks from even kids and adults.
It's interesting, and I'm going to go bigger picture than just the gay issue. With Perrysburg that I've been experiencing the last couple of weeks, and then honestly off and on for a little while now. But we look at the controversy with Perrysburg Heights, and it's just that, and then the water tower controversy. A friend put this perfectly. It's like she doesn't know if it's a gay problem, she doesn't know if it's a black problem, she doesn't know if it's a brown problem, but it's a problem for people that don't look like you. Does Perrysburg have a problem with issues of people that don't look like you? Go ahead, Robert.
Well, I noticed moving here from California that, if you look at Perrysburg, that Heights, that's been around for 80 years? Right. That's a diverse community. Mm-hmm. There's a huge Filipino population here. We have one of the largest mosques in the United States, if not the largest mosque in the United States. It's a diverse town filled with many different colored people. But it just goes to show you how strong that white patriarchal anti-voice is in this town.
And can you say that without hating white people? I mean,
I'm a white guy.
Right.
It's not like I don't hate. It's just
It's just we have to just look at it's just
No, I
the
do
fact-
hate it. I do hate it. I do hate it. I've been called the worst names. That's what made me want to do the Black History Month show, was how I was treated by this community, you know, and how I had to correct their behaviors, and like how protected they feel.
Well,
I think that drives me nuts.
And that's okay. So you're making them uncomfortable. So then that's what a lot of this is
and getting
about.
them drunk. So you knew the slurs were coming.
But it's a brown, it's a black, it's a gay, it's a not look like us problem that Perrysburg is having to deal with. And when you look at the water tower issue, because I took a lot of heat for that, because I was trying to like people.
What's the issue?
People
on
are
that?
like the black people in the water tower.
Those are the only people you're going to see in Perrysburg.
Right,
That's
the
why
only
I said
black
I did
people
the
you're going to see, and then so now it was the city wants to change that. The mayor's like, it's just bad image. Let's just change it. People are like, no, that's the way it is. They've always been that way. And here's the way they dismiss you is by saying water towers aren't racist. Shadows aren't racist. This is ridiculous.
Guns don't kill people.
Well, shadows are not racist. We know. Thank you. We know that. But there is an underlying issue that needs to be addressed, and no one wants to get to the underlying issue. They just want to shut you down right away by saying, well, that's so stupid. Water towers aren't racist. Okay, true.
You're right.
Okay.
Why not do you support a local artist then to change that foothold for that discrepancy in your belief policy then?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
By redesigning the water tower.
Right.
Why wouldn't you just try to be why don't you try to grow?
Well, and that's why I had. I'm like, if you know that stereotype, we're getting off track a little bit. If you know if that stereotype is out there, and you can, if it's 10%, if it's 5% people drive by, if it's 1% of people drive by, if 100,000 people drive by, still thousands of people that think your town, that think of that joke for your town. So if you can just pull that down, and they're not thinking of that, well, then you put something else up there and you can move forward. But then there's people
that's why education is key, and something like a GSA club, or even bringing all of this conversation to the forefront, is needed in our community, because if we continue to not educate our kids, they're going to continue to behave the way that people have always behaved, closed-minded. Right. So we need to provide education to our teachers so they know how to have intelligent conversations and not say things like the plus includes pedophiles. And the only way to do that is to educate.
I don't even think our teachers would say, I don't think most people, like, how are dumb people so rich? I don't think most people would say that.
I want that on a shirt, Robert.
Be nice, Robert.
You know, that's so nice.
But here's the that's so nice.
I could be so much worse.
I know. I hear you. I know you're frustrated.
I'm not frustrated.
Okay, what is it? What is it? What is it?
I guess I'm hungry.
The fridge is right through those curtains. The fridge is right there. So Trevor, they are going to have. So what was the outcome? Are they going to have the club?
Yes. It was passed, even though it was not verbalized. They all did speak their minds on it and said that would be a great way for kids at Perrysburg, gay or not, to come all together and learn about each other's learn about the gay history, and learn that just because someone is the same as you, doesn't look the same as you, or act the same way as you, we are still human, and that not one minority should be discriminated against just because of who they love.
Something else during that time when they were saying the reason why they were going to vote, one of the school board members said, I wish we knew what we knew now. And you did know then what you know now. Like, because maybe the board member was likening it to a situation when they were in high school. And if they knew the knowledge that they know now, maybe she could have saved her friend or her classmate that had killed himself from being gay. And I was like, you did know it was wrong then.
Robert, she reached out to me afterwards. It was Sue Larimer, and she reached out to me. She emailed me afterwards, and she said she felt like what she was saying came out in a way that she didn't intend, and she feels like educating people is what she wanted to say, and that if there was more support and more education, maybe those things would change. So she responded to my email immediately the night that I sent it. And then after the board meeting, she also responded. She's been very engaged, and she apologized for, I don't know if she used the word ignorance, but she apologized for not being educated. And she said she intends to become more educated
That's awesome.
on all things LGBTQ. Yes, her and Lori Reffert were like amazing, have reached out, shown support, tried to educate themselves. They've been like rock stars.
That is also saying that a lot of people say, oh, we grew up in different times. That just shows that no matter what your age, you can always be an open-minded person. No matter, you can always learn and accept more people, no matter what your age is, no matter how you're taught. You can always yourself change, because really, when it comes down to the end of the day, it's your beliefs and what you think.
That's such a profound statement, because I mean, we know the gay, it doesn't matter races, it's all evolved. I mean, Barack Obama was against gay marriage, and that was only a decade ago or something. And just how far we come, and you are allowed to.
Well, look how far we come with allyship. That's the only thing that gains traction in a movement with civil rights, is if you can team up with an ally. We've seen that time and time. The Freedom Riders.
Right. It's okay to make a journey and learn and continue to educate yourself. And
everyone deserves a starting point, right?
Absolutely.
Everyone needs education. I'm sure my husband did not think he was going to take Trevor to
get my nails done today.
Yes. So
what?
We were just talking about how no matter what your age is, you can always be open-minded. And an example is my dad, when he was younger, or before he knew that I was going to come into this world, you could say, he might have not been the most open-minded person, but over time, after I told him my feelings and how I view who I love in my life, he's evolved. And so eventually, even today, taking me to get my nails done. So.
It's so great,
Trevor,
too, when your first bully isn't your parents. Do you know?
Yes.
That's a
absolutely.
huge thing.
I just got the chills, man. That's so cool that your dad has made that evolution, and it took the love of you to change that. But you never know how someone is going to change, or what's going to make them change, and hopefully that just the spewing of hate and just like why are they so scared of you? I did a commentary a couple weeks ago. I'm like, gay doesn't rub off. Gay, I'm not gonna,
well,
I'm not gonna. You're not gonna learn me gay. So don't be scared of education, because no matter what you try to do, you can't make me gay. I am what I am. My grandma used to say, I am what I am, and that's all what I am. Oh wait, that was Popeye. But anyway, my point is, there's nothing wrong with learning about other people and just making them feel comfortable. Why do you want the suicide rate is so high for gay youth, and probably gays in general? I mean, you guys might know better than that.
Black trans.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to be so hateful? Why would you want to make someone uncomfortable? Like, why do you care what they are, or what they do, or what they believe, as long as it doesn't affect you?
Yeah, think how far threatened you must feel. That's what you rather do and deal with in your own mind. And I gotta say,
I might be off on this statistic, but I want to say that gay youth have a 70% higher suicide rate, and they're 30% more likely to complete their attempt. So it's really, really a problem.
Commit suicide not because they want to die, it's because they want to escape the pain of their day-to-day.
And if you just care about people, why would you even why would you, I mean, do whatever, as long as it doesn't affect me, as long as it doesn't hurt me, just do what you want to do. I don't care. I don't know. I don't understand people that just
being gay isn't contagious. And I think they have it twisted in their brain that, oh, if we accept gay people, or if we learn to love them like natural humans, oh, we're going to be seen as gay people, and we don't like that. But really, at the end of the day, it's not contagious. It's not a virus. It's not a disease. It's just you're born this way, and there's not a certain way you have to act when you're gay. That's another stereotype. You're a normal person, and anyone, no matter gender, you can wear whatever clothes you want. You can be straight and have your nails painted. It's just, it's how you act and who you love. And people have different stereotypes built up in their brain from over time of not being open-minded, to the point where they realize that it's wrong to be gay, or it's wrong to act a certain way, when really it's just you being yourself, no matter what your sexual orientation is.
I guess we're kind of maybe talking in circles now, but I can't understand why people would be against learning about that, like
Well, because it threatens her foundation, or
everything. Mhm.
past Cam. I mean, that's really what it is. It threatens their belief structure. Why? I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know what invested.
I mean, is it something like in their mind? They're being fed this information. So I mean, I don't
propaganda.
I don't totally blame them, because I mean, it's being done.
I'd be willing to pay for her therapy. P.S. If Cam, if you are listening to this, I would be willing to pay for you to go see
We
a
will
therapist.
both know you.
Yeah.
Send the Venmo, PayPal.
There are millions of dollars being sent at high levels, and people studying this stuff, and it's a form of indoctrination of what they're doing to these people. So it's not all their fault. Like I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt that
And I don't want anyone to change their mind. That's why, honestly, I listen to the other side. I don't
Mhm.
expect people to change their mind, but I do
Mhm.
expect them to be nice and not say wrong, hateful things. That's my
Right.
only
We don't want to
expectation.
change. We don't want to change your beliefs on a standpoint. You have your own beliefs and your own. You can have your own opinion, but even if you have a different opinion than someone, you still have to respect others. And as soon as me and other speakers at the last board meeting spoke out against her opinion, she got offended. But she said that we were being hateful towards her, when really we were not being hateful. We were speaking our opinion. We let you speak yours, and even
Well,
though
isn't it weird that accountability can look like a pre-planned attack?
yes.
Yes.
That's how those white tears come in effect. Oh, playing the victim.
Yeah, I mean, and her son isn't afraid to use the bathroom at school. My son is. That's a problem.
Yeah.
When
The locker room to cheer.
he
cheer
was a
practice.
cheerleader, and he was afraid to go in the locker room with the football team. So if we have kids that are afraid, we need to fix that. That's not okay.
And here's the problem, Missy, and it gets back to the bigger issue. How do I say this? There's a bullying problem at Perrysburg schools. I'm not even going to say I meant Perrysburg schools. There is a bullying problem, and it's I'm sure it's especially hard, 10 times harder, or whatever it is, for those that are different. But
didn't they just write racial slurs on the toilet the day after the board meeting?
So yes, they did, and so.
It's bigger than the water tower.
And you're right. And we're so scared to have this discussion because everyone just wants to be like, well, you're hateful, and then, well, you're gay. So, but we all have to live in the same community, and there's a real problem here with bullying and being black and being Hispanic and being gay. And I'm sure it's not just in this community. I'm sure there's a lot.
And like Trevor said, in third grade was the first instance.
I was told multiple times that my parents wouldn't love me if I liked boys or if I acted too girly, and that was really the first part in my mind that made me install fear that I was never going to be accepted at my school, or teachers were going to look at me differently when they haven't. And it's because teachers are some of the most accepting people and loving people, and when people like him are trying to say they shouldn't be educating us on that youth, they're ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not going to change their beliefs that we need to teach while they're still young, that love is in multiple shapes and forms, and that you can love all.
Yes.
Like, in third grade, those third graders knew what they were saying, and I mean, they were punished, and we got some nice letters from these boys, which I might add, these same boys from third grade have continued their hatred into junior high, so that hasn't changed.
That's down from the family,
right? A lot of times it's it's a learned behavior from your upbringing, for sure. And I just I wish it would. Here's the problem. If I'm a parent on that side, I'd be like, I don't want to. I'm trying to protect my child. I don't want my 7 or 8 year old to be exposed to this. But yeah, they have to. They have to be exposed to this, because otherwise they're living with gays, they're living with blacks, they're living with all these people. And if you're just not wanting to talk about this, it's gonna make it worse on those kids. So it's nothing wrong with learning.
Anytime you can mention parents in a school, you can mention gay parents, because I have 2 kids. Do you know? They went to Perrysburg schools. I feel like that is valid,
Mhm.
and
Well, 100%, Robert. That's what I thought. If we aren't supporting our youngest kids and we're not talking about this, what about the younger kids who have gay parents? Are they going to think that their
Parents are wrong,
their
or-
parents are wrong? I mean, it
Yeah.
just
my
it
daughter,
makes
she grows
zero
up, she's
sense.
just like her dad, and I was like, how's that? And she said, I want to marry a man. She laughed. I was like, "You little brat."
Well, and here's the thing: is kids are so they're so wise nowadays at a younger age. So we need to have these discussions, But these they want to not have this discussion, and not even in high school. Even high school to them is too young. But no, you're living among.
So what do you suggest for a resolution? Honestly, though, I mean, we're doing this podcast.
Uh-huh.
We're talking to school boards. I have art all over town trying to create like this conversation, and that's all I want to do is facilitate this conversation. So what was in this realm? What could we offer to start some type of resolution and to kind of untie the knot of this misinformation?
Well, there is a national GSA like affiliation, so I've started to research it a little bit. I had someone from the Buckeye Flame reach out to us. So my hope is that we can get some real education in Perrysburg schools. One of the speakers that they had that they're referring to, she's based out of Columbus, and she does a lot of good education. So my hope is that we can get
words
more
of like, so
support.
Because David Desser brought in all the right-wing people from like the America First, so I'm so scared about like those
Bring outside organizations, because we already didn't like those other outside organizations. So now I don't know how it's so entrenched, and I don't know how you fix it. I don't even know how you start to fix it. I mean,
visibility, not creating erasure.
Missy,
for one.
Missy, I think you're only going to be teaching the ones that already are on your side. Like,
like I think of it like a bell curve. So we're gonna have the people that are always accepting. Then we're gonna have up the bell, down the bell, and then we're gonna have the people that aren't accepting. So my hope is
spiraling. With every draw, there's a step forward. You have to fight.
Yeah, like if we could grab some of those people in the middle, then maybe it would be better. I'm really excited about how many people responded and how much support we got. Personally,
it was really nice
we got we got letters, we got Facebook messages. So there's been a lot of support. My hope is those people are more vocal and showing their support.
And that's the problem, is the other side of the issue is they're so engaged and moved and motivated and vocal to where it's the silent majority, and we're letting the loud screaming minority people think that that's the norm because that's what they hear, but everyone else just wants to go about with their lives. They don't it's just not that, but they demonize the other side so hard that they're so motivated, and it just I don't know.
In times like this, when everything is polarized too, if you were a moderate and you weren't being affected by police overreach through black crime and transgender death or suicide, or even the Leah girl who just won that swimming thing, if you can just go through your life and not be touched by anything, you just want to
live your life,
right? I can understand why you don't want to voice up or feel or vote or not vote fiscally or vote fiscally as opposed to like a human rights condition. I can see that. So it's like it doesn't make it excusable, but that's what Martin Luther King talks about. It's not the people that oppose him that's so dangerous. It's the people that aren't moved because they're untouched by this violence and they're protected by how they live.
All right, final thoughts, anybody? Trevor and Missy. By the way, Trevor, you are so wise beyond your years. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on and share your side of things. I'm sorry what you've had to go through, but I think you're going to make a big difference in this world. And I think that's very important. And that's the reason you had to go through the journey you have, is because you are going to be a motivator and you're going to be a changer for the good moving forward. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story and being vocal about it. I think it's gonna pay off for you, my friend.
And if you have any pointers for a smoky eye, just let me know, bud.
What is that? I don't know what that means. Missy, Trevor, final thoughts, and I'll give it over to Robert, and then we'll we'll wrap
No,
this up.
we're appreciative of you letting us come on and talk, and we hope to just continue to educate slowly but surely by, having Trevor tell his story as often as he wants to. It's kind of a fine line that he walks because, he does have to go to school. So we
Right.
kind of have to be careful with, how, what he says, who he talks about, but he wants
Right.
to make sure, and I want to make sure that all kids know and are educated, and I'm always a safe place for any kid.
And Cam was, I reached out to have her come on the show if she wanted to. She kindly rejected the offer to come on and talk with us because I think, Robert, you talked about where to start. There has to be a conversation where two people that are on the opposite sides can at least sit in a room to see if there is some common ground that we can come to. Maybe that's a start. But right now, no one wants to come to that table from the other side. They just, and David Dresser, I had this conversation. I've known David for so long, and I'm like, man, how can you think like this? Like, let's talk about this. And they only want to talk to people that agree with them.
Because
it's their circle. They don't want to go outside of their circle.
So David wouldn't speak either?
No. Actually, I reached out to him because he's one of those that dismissed any conversation on the water towers with, well, water towers aren't racist. Okay, yeah.
Well, that's easy. That's what when you're peddling.
I know that's it.
CRT.
And he doesn't want to go past that. So I laid out a bunch of other stuff, but again, he doesn't want to. You can't go outside of your talking points. Because then logic's might seep in, and there's some other things that might
online
seep in.
We had this conversation, and he on my page, and it was so crazy because you'd get to the talking point, and then he would say that I was being evasive, and I was like, but you are, but that's what you do.
But that's what social media does. That's why I say get in a room or get face to face or Zoom or whatever and start some conversations. But again, if you got to get out of your like-minded circle. I think you said that's how do you start it? I think that's how you have to start it. You have to get people out of their circle to actually talk civilly to the other side.
Maybe David Desser, Cam Warner. Maybe this summer you guys would want to go to Pride with me and my friends.
That might be a little far.
No,
I don't know if they're coming that far.
Robert, that would be amazing if they went.
Yeah, I'm saying if you're not fearful. I'm not fearful of you, and I want you to come out with me, and I would love to show you a fun time and how inclusive we can be. And
well, I don't think anyone's scared of gays. I don't.
Well, I'm just saying the whole thing. She's suing the school board based on the fact that she's not fearful. So if you're not fearful, then march with us. I would love to see you there.
Yeah. All right.
I love that, Robert. Let's get that going.
Yeah, because I think through education, what's more important than that is celebrating. Where do we learn about a culture? We learn about it through the food and through the music. Let's listen to some Madonna, eat some corn dogs. Hang out.
Is that the food of
she
the
has
gay?
Gay friends. Bring your gay friends.
Wait, is that the food of the gay, the corn dogs? I had no idea that you had your own cuisine.
It was just the shape.
All right. On that note, all right. Thank you guys.
Thank
Robert,
you.
Thank
coming
you very
in,
much.
Trevor, Missy. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all. And again, we invite the other side to come. And I would like to get both sides in and just have to see if there's anything that we can come together on and just see what happens, what transpires. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. We do appreciate it. It's PERRYSBURG Pulse, the podcast. Broadcast Hippo is the producer of the show. I'm Andrew Z. Thank you guys so much. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.